You know the big story on in Nigerian markets already. Owando is now off the hook of the technical suspension ordered by the Securities and Exchange Commission in October last year by the Nigerian Stock Exchange. The oil company went to court, lost a lot of some of those contests against the SEC. Then it was resolved just as we start in the new year. Now the stock exchange, hold on a second. Then Owando wrote to the Nigerian Stock Exchange saying, hold on a second, could you please leave this suspension? It's hurting the shareholders. Then a few days after, a few shareholders or investors did a rally at the National Assembly in Abuja. And then the stock exchange yesterday, about 10:30 local time, I guess I was in bed by then, I think. Yeah, then the news went out that the NSE has written the Owando's management, informing them that the suspension has been lifted nearly 6 months. And you're hearing all the analysts speaking to why these punitive measures should be lifted and why it hurts, not just Owando, and how it hurts in the market and could be a very wrong signal to investors looking into the Nigerian market. That's the big news today, the lifting of technical suspension of Owando Nigeria PLC by the Nigerian Stock Exchange. We're checking with one of the trading firm on Custom Street in a short while. What is going on with our shares? How much volume is coming in? Where is the share price heading? And how is that impacting with the market? We'll check with one of the licensed traders in the market. But first, let's talk about the digital economy and the ICT world. When we have the opportunity, I try to listen to these guys who are very hot up here when it comes to technology, digital world, and all of that. So live straight to our Abuja studios, where the senior special advisor to the president on ICT and who is a part of the vice president's team is joining us to have this discussion. Lanre Oshibono. Good morning. It's good to have you here. Let's delve straight into your world, my world, our world of digital economy. What does it really mean? Can you contextualize this digital economy within the broader macro Nigeria economy?
All right. Thank you. Good morning, and thank you for having me. So, a key aspect of a big focus of this administration is to move the Nigeria economy into a digital form. And as part of the macroeconomics for diversifying the economic stream, enabling transparency in how government does its business, ease of doing business, and more than anything else, create jobs, create skilled jobs in the digital space. As you're well aware, the world is much together. There's competition which is global, and it's a digital world. And in order for us to leverage the fourth industrial revolution, we focus very heavily in terms of investing heavily in digital infrastructure and building a digital economy. And what does that mean? So that means, first, the broadband penetration. We're improving on the broadband penetration. It means also the digital identity. It means digital financial services. It means digital skills. And more than anything else, also the digital government, because government is a big repository of data. However, we need to ensure that those data are moved into a digital form that allows for easy access, historical forecasting, predictive analysis, and a host of areas around making efficiency in terms of how government does its business. Where I want to focus in particular also is the digital identity, because that's extremely critical in order to allow for social inclusion, financial inclusion, create jobs, e-commerce, in terms of also managing the citizens in terms of security. A big aspect of what we're doing with the social investment derives its efficiency out of understanding and being able to identify the citizen. A big aspect of this was that there's been identities in silos across a different number of identity agencies. So what you then find is you still have this issue of anonymity across board. So you have, because they were never harmonized, there was never a synchronization between these identity agencies. So we've embarked upon a big process. On the onset of this administration, President Buhari gave a mandate to have a harmonization committee set up. So we worked with development partners from the World Bank, AFD, the French Development Bank, the EU, the civil society, the academics, to build a strategic roadmap that takes us into a holistic digital identity that cuts across every Nigerian, to ensure that every Nigerian matters, all across the 6 geopolitical zones, all the 4 corners of Nigeria. And The challenges that of the past, where, as you're well aware, the ID project has been on, but the challenges in terms of the number of attributes to be collected, in terms of the issue of issuing cards, these are big hurdles that, considering the size of the nation and the number of citizens, the best approach is for us to issue a digital ID. Today, for the people that have BVN, they have digital number, which qualifies them for a bank account, and it's trackable in that regard. So that's where our focus is. We've moved from, I believe it was about 5 million odd records when we came into government. We've moved to 30 million records based on harmonization. However, there's still a huge number of people that are not partially verified or partially identified. And there's another massive number that today, they're not financially included, they're not ID'd, we don't actually have any way of reaching them. So we're focusing on ensuring that we reach every Nigerian and register you. And what this also means is that, think of the picture where we eventually have all Nigerians digitally registered. And we tie this also to what we call the National Populations Commission. So the birth and death records are tied in. So new Nigerians are born, they automatically get synced into the identity system. And this system sits with the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC. So that's a big aspect. It saves a huge cost in the long run, because then we don't have to have a number of different projects to try and run ID.
Larry,
we don't have to have situations where...
I got one quick question from where you are at the moment, and that's the first one. Do you see at some point that this digital economy, the ecosystem that has been built, could also help us work against corruption or corrupt practices?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I believe you can hear me. Absolutely. Like I said before, today we still have the issue of anonymity. You know, in order to foster a socially responsible society where people are tied from having this digital ID, tied to your immigration status, tied to your, to your immigration passport, tied to your BVN, tied to your driver's license, tied to the fact that you qualify to get a subsidy for fertilizer, tied to the fact that you get qualified to get access to primary health care, to social investment programs, benefits. It opens up the system. Also, there's a huge benefit, actually, in terms of innovation. It opens up a massive opportunity for the fintech industry to be able to access a database that's got integrity to it. So you can actually offer loans. So there'll be competition in terms of private capital investment companies. They can offer loans to citizens. So we don't have to wait for just the commercial banks in the manner which they are. Today, the fintech industry is one that's burgeoning in Nigeria. It's taking place, and it's going to have a big play. However, what we're doing as a government, as a responsible government, is to build we talk about the enabling environment, is to build this database that you can have access to within controls, of course, of data privacy and confidentiality. So again, we're working closely to ensure we put in place a solid legal framework that protects the data and the privacy and the confidentiality around cybersecurity.